My name is James. I drive this 93 RX7 FD model, which is the Mark III of them. It's not actually my first introduction to rotary. It didn't come from cars, it actually came from motorcycles. My stepfather was a motorcycle engineer and used to have a John Player Special Norton Commando. As I grew older and found my own way into cars and jumbled on, a friend of mine, Andy, brought in a black RX7 from Japan in the late 90s, maybe early 2000s. And first time I saw that, it was such a sleek looking thing, like some sort of spaceship that came in with just all these curves all over it, and not a straight edge basically anywhere to be seen. And we went out for a drive in it, and it was just out of this world how smooth it seemed. I went out and I'd been looking on and off for about 4 years that I would try and find an RX7. While I'd been off sick, one of my friends had sent me a message of, look, there's one for sale in Helsinki, and I decided that, well, I'll treat myself since everything's a bit crap right now. Go there, I can look at it, maybe have a test drive and see if I still like the car and if it's still the hero that it is in my head. I got into the showroom, the car was a little bit rough around the edges, there were some aftermarket gauges into it, some fog lights that looked terrible, quite honestly, and the wheels that were on it were not these ones. There was a set of 18-inch wheels that I just thought looked too big, so it wasn't perfect, but I could see underneath it there was something that I could save. It's that lost puppy syndrome. You're like, I can bring this back to its former glory. The engine is bone stock. There's been no mapping, no tuning, no aftermarket parts fitted to it. And I think that's partly testament to why it stayed reliable. I was quite keen that when I went hunting, I wanted either absolutely standard or something completely off the wall. I didn't want to have in between. And this one landed, and it was the appeal of it being so standard. It had been well maintained. We did a compression test on the engine, it came back healthy. I hired a local guy to look over the car for me and everything came back clean, so yeah. The engine is the 13B twin turbo rotary. The twin turbo setup provides the first turbo is giving you boost up until sort of around 4,500 RPM. Then the second one comes in and brings more to the party. Everybody who I've let drive this car, the first thing I normally get is, oh, it does pull. It does have some torque there. The twin turbo system that's on it works really well. It pulls from low down. It's not that you have to be revving it to death all the time like everybody seems to tell you. The sound of it more sings to you there. There's not the raucous cacophony that you get from a piston engine that's there until you really start modifying them, but this one is not. So this one is just generally quite quiet until you're over 6,000 RPM, and then it starts to really howl, I would say. It doesn't sound angry. It's quite understated in the noise of while you're driving. Wheels wise, I downsized from the 18-inch wheels that it came on to a set of 17-inch because I like it to be a little bit more comfortable. I like the older look with a little bit more sidewall. I'm not so much about big wheels with a tiny sidewall. I like the more natural look that this gives to me, my mind. And the color choice was done out of, I used to have a toy Lotus 72 in John Player Special colors, and John Player Special was black and gold, and my painter was actually really good. He found this gold on the wheels is actually a Lotus color that he found for me. Everybody said it would be unreliable, so I booked a trip to go and visit Le Mans 24-hour race in France. Took a good buddy of mine, and we drove from Finland all the way down to France, through Germany, mostly that way down. When we came back, we did Holland and Belgium. I love driving this car because it's so responsive to you. It really talks back to you. The biggest improvement I made since buying it was we changed all the bushings in the suspension and did the alignment, and it just communicates so nicely with what you're doing on the road, and it's still comfortable and smooth that you can travel over large distances with it, but when you want to push it and have a play, it feels so dialed in. It's so nimble, and just that part is the bit that I love about driving. If you like driving, you want to get out and drive, and for me, I can drive all the way to the south of France in it, or I can go for a play down the back roads, and either way I still get enjoyment out of this car. Just even today, pulling off from the small roads I live on to the motorway, and just that accelerating off the slip road up to the motorway and actually being able to let it stretch its leg and go, it just makes you smile.